What about a 1 minute meltdown in the kid voice?
Well, we
Here's a
should try it.
meltdown. Josh was not nice to his friends.
And like
Oh my
posting
gosh,
that?
did you see Devin in CT? It looks so hot.
Can that be part of my fashion segment instead of the music? Just that little
Right?
clip of your sound. Oh my god.
Never. We talk about how being so old, my leg, my neck.
The same way I'm like,
I know. I'm like my fucking neck. I'm like I can't say nothing.
Like, I have 2 braces for carpal tunnel over here. Like,
I can't even make fun of them because I'm always in pain. I'm always hurting my back, my neck, my legs.
my knee still hasn't recovered from New Orleans, like when I fell.
Yo, I'm gonna let you finish, but you look like a floating head, Victor.
I'm back.
So at this point, here's where we put the music. Nah, 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 nah.
Hey.
I wanted to smoke, so let's bring the fire. We're igniting the drama and chaos. This is Matches and Mayhem. We're your ride or die hosts, Nora, the Vendetta Queen, Raquel, the Cutthroat Contessa, Victor, the Duel Master, and Iraq, the Double Agent. Get ready for a reckoning as we dive into the gauntlet of Season 40 of The Challenge, Battle of the Eras.
I love this.
Woo!
Let's go. All right, let me tone it back.
A little bit.
My Real Friends Era. That title kind of seems like a shade at Josh, but CT's gone and Era 1 is officially the Bad News Bears. So tragic. Laurel's out here shading Kara in her shitty jeans while pretending that she's above the drama. You're not! Meanwhile, Jenny's pissed that no one volunteered, so she feels disposable. But hey, at least she's got her guinea pigs and chocolates. Meanwhile, Banana's playing more alliances than Diddy had freak-offs. But did he spill the baby oil when he tried to come between Michelle and Devin? Thoughts, anyone? The Cloud Catcher Challenge was a hot mess of balloons popping and legs breaking. Derek's out here hopping on his good foot, and Maniac status has been achieved. But Era 4 gets the dub, meaning Josh and Jenny have a decision on their hands, and Josh has to nominate a friend. Seriously, being Josh's friend is like being in a cult. Eventually, you're going to have to drink that elimination poison. Elimination time. Corey's basketball finesse beats Brad's brute force. Say that 5 times fast. Rachel smoking that John A pack. And once again, we get this volunteer bullshit. TJ, put an end to this foolishness.
Okay.
Fair.
Nice.
I like.
But how can TJ stop volunteering? The
Oh,
algorithm?
TJ's Mr. Jack Nicholson over here, all powerful. Like, he can do something.
Bring back
My
the
question
algorithm.
is
Let's do it.
Is baby oil a registered copyrighted name? Are we gonna get in trouble for throwing that in there?
Maybe I'll see you in court.
All right. Now, I think we should just get in. We, of course, are going to start off right where we kind of left-ish, because we didn't leave off, but they were for sure going to milk the whole Laurel and Cara thing to kind of sum it up, I guess. Or I guess that's a good question. Do you feel like we're done? Do you think the Cara and Laurel thing now is settled after this episode?
I think it's gone from like a boiling mess to like a simmer right now. Kara's taking the high road right now. She's she's taking the jabs in stride. The whole red hair comment from Laurel, but I mean, it's gonna come back. It's inevitable.
Nothing
I
was
didn't
resolved.
really understand.
It's a saying, redheaded stepchild.
That's supposed to be offensive? I can't really tell with
It's so childish. She just stomps by. It's like the red-headed stepchild. Kara's just like, I'm folding my laundry, girl. Like, what do you want from me right now? Go fight with your shadow, because you ain't getting it here.
I love that Laurel didn't get much airtime. I felt like this episode. I feel like the only time I remember her when she was like patting Johnny on the shoulder, like, see, this is what she does. She does this.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I didn't hear, which was so obnoxious just to watch. And I didn't see her again, so it was nice.
That, and the only other time I noticed her, she was like laying down at the club, like by herself, playing with her necklace. And I'm like, you bozo, like go out, socialize. Like,
I don't think too many
It's
people
kind of-
like her in the house right now.
yeah,
It's hard to like. It's hard to
Right.
like.
It really
It's
is.
a lot.
All right, well, I guess we'll see. I'm sure we're not done with it because, as we know, it brings the views. It's why we all watch, in a sick way. We want to see what's going on with them because they're both mega players. So I think we'll nothing was resolved. So I'm sure, see something. As long as they're both there, it's going to keep going somewhere, somehow.
But she referenced to Cara Maria. And this is what I don't understand. One episode she says, we're not sisters. We never had that relationship. Next episode, she's comparing big sister, little sister.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, pick a side and stand on it. Stand 10 toes down. We're not sisters. We are sisters. Pick one and just go with it.
All right. So other than the Laura and Cara situation, the only other thing at the beginning is really Jenny being upset. That's brought up again. She's really upset because she's going back in. And I will say, I kind of understand her point, but I'm curious, what do you guys think about that?
Suck it up. You have no friends. It's like, what do you expect?
I don't know. I feel like I waver between like suck it up and also no, you don't have to nominate yourself if you don't want to. Like there's $1 million on the line. If you don't want to do what these 8 other people are telling you, then don't do it. You know, like I don't know. And I don't necessarily always agree with this. Like I'm going to vote myself in because I want to, you know, be a martyr for my team and I go home. I'll take the L for them. Okay, that's on you. You don't have to gaslight someone else to do it if they don't want to. Like, I think it sucks to be in that position.
You know, the only thing with that is I don't understand what the ground rules are for these teams that are deciding to volunteer, which is mostly Era 3 and 4. Like, when does somebody have to volunteer or not? Because Jenny didn't volunteer the last one. Nehemiah just chose her. Nobody else stepped up. And correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle hasn't been nominated yet, and Casey haven't been nominated yet.
What I kind of wish is that, like, Era 4, since it goes in order, Era 1 through 4, you know, you nominate your target in, like, numerical order, right? By the time you get to Era 4, people already know who they might potentially go against, and then they will not nominate themselves. And I hate that. So I kind of wish that the producers would have been like, okay, you're going to cast your vote in secret. So if you win, who are you going to nominate as a target? Something like that. Because then it's just, I don't know, it's just like... Or
randomize the order. So
the order.
We've been on the socials a little bit because, I felt like this and other people felt like this. From jump, Josh saw CT go in. He's like, I'm not volunteering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last week, it seems like Michelle should have volunteered last week, but she saw that Laurel went in and Rachel went in, and then both her and John A are like, I don't want to volunteer with this group. It's not fair. Like, either you are gonna say, hey, we're volunteering this person because it's her or his turn, or don't do the volunteering. That's the thing that's pissing me off, because I don't want to like get too far ahead of the episode, but why do we think Michelle was okay volunteering this time around? We'll see who else is the target, but pretty sure she likes her odds, and she actually said it, but we'll get there. But I agree. It's like, that's what I hate about the volunteer. One, if you get the power to nominate, use the power to your advantage. Don't let other people take the power away from you. And Jenny's upset because, like, what happened to, we're all volunteering and now nobody wants to because they saw Laurel and Rachel over there as bullshit. So, you know, what's the rule? What are we agreeing to as a team?
I also think, was it like Olivia who made the point? Because I mean, Jenny's saying, like, you know, just because I don't have friends at this point, she's not going to gain the friends. And then Olivia, I think in her part, was like, all she talks about is working out and her ferrets or whatever, or guinea pigs, not ferrets. You know, like pretty much saying, yeah, she's right with that. Like, it doesn't really matter. She's never really going to make friends with us at this point. Like, it's already established, so you'll always be the outcast. So in that point, I would understand Jenny's pissed. Like, I'm doing a lot for this team, and you're still willing to sacrifice me and want me to go up every single time. When in reality, if it's about the team, wouldn't you want to keep one of your stronger girls and get rid of a weaker girl?
It's not about the team. It's about the Vacation Alliance.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. When one of them is on the line, hey, we're all volunteering. When it's not one of them on the line, it's wherever they chose. And then you're supposed to, you win. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we'll get there on nominations.
All right. Well, let's jump into the challenge, because it was a long challenge. I think it took up quite a bit of the episode. I think there was a few breaks if you have commercials in yours. Does anyone, I'm not the brains of this operation, let that be known. Can anyone explain the rules of this challenge? Because once again, I sat there looking at Victor and I was like, what? Who wins? Who wins what? I don't know. There's 3 different. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I was confused. So
And
if
then
anyone
I
understood
was like, and I was telling her, I was like, all it is you take the balloon and you bring it up, and the most balloons win. And then, well, in the fastest amount of time, and then it didn't make sense after that because the people who got first didn't win. Time had no real relevance. It was just who had the most balloons, and there was no need for a riddle or a puzzle or whatever. It just got chaotic, and the rules weren't clear. It didn't make sense. There wasn't any, there wasn't no way for us to know who really won. So I thought it was a horrible challenge. I thought it was horrible. It was horrible.
I beg to differ. TJ's rules were clear. He said the most balloons wins, but the tiebreaker, if there was the same amount of balloons, was who did it faster. So I mean, it is a little bit complicated, and that's why Era 4, and maybe this is like the people there are thinking about it, they were up front. They were like, slow and steady wins this race. It's Jordan went out there running the fastest, and I think it was Kylan who called it out. It was like, it's not about getting to the balloons first. It's about making sure they all make it back. And meanwhile, you got Jordan jumping into ditches, popping his balloons.
That was funny to watch.
After he just yelled at Johnny, like, Johnny, bullet, pop. Like, come on.
I don't know. And Nora and I have this conversation, I think, every week or every other week. And I don't know. I feel like the challenges, they're getting less and less, like, more appealing. Like, they're not as fun or dynamic as they used to be. I don't know if it's running out of ideas or just, setting up these challenges in a foreign country. But I don't know. Maybe just, a hot take. But I think they haven't had any really good challenges so far in this season.
Also thinking it could have something to do with there's still so many people and they're making so many rules to every challenge that it's like it's hard to be really in and like focus on one, like, okay, them getting the balloons, okay, well they did that, now they're gonna do the the riddle. I don't know, it's almost too much, so nothing is really that exciting to watch because they're trying to cram in all these different aspects instead of just making it just the balloon thing would have been like, put more balloons, give them more time, the first to this many wins. Maybe do that. It would have made them have to go quicker, but still calmly, like, I guess that would have been, to me, more intriguing than first ones to finish, bringing balloons, the most, though, in the quickest time, and do the riddle, and I don't know. It starts almost getting too many pieces that I'm like, simplify it a little bit because we have so many people, and then when it's less people, we can add these filler things to bulk up the episode, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree in that, like, combining the number of balloons with the time element, it's just like a little weird. When I first saw it, it's like, oh, balloons, they're gonna have to tie it, and the first one to like raise or pick up something. Like, that's what I thought the thing was. I forgot that these said it was a riddle underneath there. It was like, oh, the first one to raise that canopy wins. That kind of makes sense if you're using something that's floating to do that. But I do agree, like, with something you said, is like when you have this many people on one team, to try to figure out how do we make this like a team game. We might be struggling a little bit with that and adding puzzles and things like that. We've lost some of the physicality that we like in some of these challenges. I'm not saying put people in a gladiator arena, but you know.
I am. No, just kidding. No, I mean, like, I want to think that it's just they're overly excited and just doing so much, but like, had they lifted something with the balloon, that would have been amazing because some of them were popping, and I know they did clearly state this time they're allowed to pop. It'll still count. They made it very clear this time.
They did.
You know, they're like, we're not getting chewed out for this one. So fair enough. But I was like, but imagine how fun that would have been. Is like, it's kind of a little bit of odds, a little bit of luck sometimes because it's like, you know, we had one over there and it popped, so now it's not lifting. You know, we got to go get another one. So I don't know. I think maybe they just need to like reel it back in, especially because it being such a big challenge. We want to see, I don't know, I guess we want to see that. And even though we have an older team and maybe they're trying to add elements so it makes it more fair, I'm like, but the truth was Slow and Steady was bringing the balloons back, so you didn't have to be, you know, the fastest runner like Jordan, you know. I don't know, but that was just, you know, I was a little confused. I was like, it's too many elements. You guys are making it like, maybe they want us to feel extra surprised and extra like, ooh, who's gonna win?
let me ask you guys that. Do you guys prefer challenges where we don't know the outcome and we're waiting for TJ to tell us? Or do you prefer that, that neck and neck race and then figuring out who finishes it first? Because here they kind of made it seem like who finished first, and then we were like, okay, so Era 2 won because Johnny's holding the shield, and then not exactly. And then TJ comes and reveals. But if they separate that, what do you guys prefer?
I like a mix. I like some challenges where we're rooting them on and there's a clear-cut winner, and I like the other ones where it's we have to wait and it's a close one. It's a nail biter. We don't know who won, and then it kind of leaves a little element of surprise. I think having a mix of both is healthy for the game, but I think what you guys said earlier about the amount of people is probably what's making things a little bit difficult this season. And it is season 40, so they want to do it big. It's season 40, a big season, a big milestone, 4 decades. But I think it kind of takes away from the challenge aspect of it by having so many people at one time.
I miss having the little timer at the bottom that tells me how long it's taking people to do things, because that's an element of suspense. I mean, as small as it is, it creates a level of suspense that is missing a little bit.
Do you mean like overall?
Yeah.
Like the overall timer for like the whole challenge, or like each team, like showing each team and where they're at with their time?
Yeah, showing each team where they're at with their time. I think when it comes to like challenges where it's super neck and neck, adding that little timer to tell us like, oh, this person, like they're 30 seconds and this one did it in a minute. Like, I don't know. I miss that. And
it didn't necessarily ruin the challenge, because they would always like take it away at the end, so you didn't exactly know. Yeah. But it takes away of having to cut from the action to somebody like Naya saying it was neck and neck, it was close, I wasn't sure how many balloons. Like, you don't have to tell us that if you show us with the timer and like what's going on there. So that's not that they could have used that here, to be honest.
Yeah, they really could have.
And not to be negative, but I mean, it probably will clear up because, like we keep saying, there's just so many people, so much going on, so much of the challenge. The constant jump cuts, like this team, this team, this team, this team, this team, like because they're trying to show. It's also kind of like not enjoyable. Part of it is building these connections with these players we'll never meet, but having that moment where you're cheering somebody on and you're watching, Johnny struggle with the balloon. So they did a little bit of it and then it's jumped right away. And it's like, hold on, like I want to see how they're actually getting through and what ways are working, what ways really aren't. Like I don't know. I think because there's so much going on, they're having to fill it. And it's almost like you can't really like that old part of the challenges when we would watch with the timer, we're like, you're sucked in, you're drawn in, and that kind of is taken away. It's almost like they're gearing it for like maybe the younger generation who don't have a longer attention span to make it so like doom 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 doom.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hold on, I want to see the struggle. I want to see, who's doing really good at crawling through and how they're crawling through. I don't know.
I love that part. Like, could you guys like the best? You saw Johnny on his back. You saw, I think, Era 3 like crawling. Era 4 using like a team approach where one person makes sure it didn't go up, another one holding down. And then you saw Era 1 with like, let's see if we can break a limb and make this harder on ourselves. Let's see if this works.
I gotta give it to Era 1 because they're really trying, man.
He was hopping along.
And he was. I mean, didn't he get a balloon
Major
with
props.
that hopping
leg?
He
did.
Yeah.
Major props. One leg, hopping it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a production fuck up, seriously, because I think what they expected was a bunch of mud, and then probably because of all the heat, it got hard, and he basically jumped into concrete like 6 feet down. Like that was rough. I thought we were gonna see bone for a second, the way he was screaming.
Yeah. So did anything ever happen with that? Did he? I don't remember seeing him go to the hospital, or it just kind of went away after that.
He said he did. He
did?
fought.
Okay.
I went looking. I was asking the same thing, and Derek said that he did get checked after the challenge, and then they took him in the ambulance, but it probably was a strain or something. A sprain.
We just don't see him next episode. He went home.
No, please
Can't put it
stay.
past him.
Please stay.
No,
Oh,
but that's, it's those little things where we are drawn, and maybe because we're so attached to these characters, like, I want to know. I want to go to the hospital with them. Like, you know,
Right.
we used to do that even when CT went. We used to go with them to the hospital. I mean, like, we're connected, so it's like, I get it. They have to change things up, especially with trying to draw in more of, you know, bigger watch crowd, and we're all so different generations, like different things. Maybe I'm just sentimental with our old ways of the challenge, and I'm not ready to let them go just yet. Like, and maybe I need to adjust to the new times. That could be it too.
Ooh, no! I want to see the ambulance. I want to see the
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they haven't shown him go to the hospital in a long time. Just maybe the ambulance, but they haven't shown him in a hospital for at least like 10,
At
15
all.
seasons.
That went away. Probably was never really that legal. Due
Yeah, I
to
was gonna
HIPAA and
say,
stuff like
Yeah, due to HIPAA, yeah,
You're just
that's
in there,
true. But
all
it's
these
like,
cameras.
I miss that though. I miss, like, I mean, DM, we were with her until it got more serious. You know, we went, you know, we were with CT, you know, getting woken, things like that. Or even like Derek, just like him coming back to the house and talking about, you know, what happened maybe, you know, maybe we don't have to go with him. But
Yeah.
sum it up for us because we're like, you good? Or nobody knows. Like, is he okay? What was wrong? I don't
sometimes
know.
Yeah.
the decisions is just like, did you really not think? You made it a big deal. Did you not think we were gonna ask? So what happened?
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, we're not gonna show you. You'll just see
I
him
mean, it's
later
in-
and be like, oh, okay, there was nothing.
Yeah, like it was the preview in last week. So I mean, you guys hyped it up, and then you don't even like finish it off.
true.
We're just sitting
That's
here
true.
like, okay.
What happened to Derek? Who? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Der-
Oh,
Move.
Which
It's good.
Derek? Which Derek?
Yeah, that
the
was
one
like
who's
my
actually like doing something.
Yeah.
that was my instant reaction. As soon as the episode was over, I don't care who went home. I don't care what happened. I was just like, yo, what happened? Did he get surgery? Did he, like, what happened to his leg? So, yeah.
So he's all cleared to go. Next episode, he's gonna play fine, I guess. Like,
We'll see.
okay,
We'll see.
Zero one. They're never fine, but
yeah. I guess maybe they were like, well, they're old anyways. I mean, they're all in pain anyways, which relatable. I get it. So. But all right, yeah. I mean, overall, I like the balloon aspect of it. That I enjoyed, like, the, you know, the popping and, like you said, how each era was kind of working in different ways, working as a team, going individually. I did like that aspect of this challenge. I thought it was, you know, fun and something different where we still had to see teamwork, but you could potentially go off on your own and just do it on your own if you work better alone, if you had skill like Johnny to get through it, you know, alone.
one thing that I'm clocking, and this is, I don't know, it's like the third week in a row, or the third episode in a row, stupid MTV Awards, where Jordan, who was becoming like America's sweetheart, he was like growing up, he's like a hero bringing supplies to Ukraine, and he finally learned how to talk to teammates and stuff like that, like just going back to his old ways, screaming at Janae the whole episode, screaming at Tori and Naya last episode, making deals with Laurel 2 episodes ago. Like, you're working backwards, Jordan. I drafted the version that we had recently had, not the old Jordan. Please turn it around before like you get sent home.
But that's where you're mistaken. That was always Jordan. He just put on an act at 1 season, 1.5 seasons. But this is the real Jordan. And then anybody
Didn't you love how he cheered on Anissa? Didn't you love how he
No.
pushed her to the limits?
No,
Like,
because I knew it was all a lie. I knew he was just saying that for TV. I knew what he
Listen.
really wanted to say. It's because I was saying it on the other side of the
So,
TV.
but that's why he was the hero that we needed, not the one we deserved. And now I don't know.
This
Yeah,
is the real Jordan. It is. I mean, everybody that knows him on the show is saying that. Tori, Naya, Laurel never talks about him, but you know everybody else
Nah,
that talks
NDA.
about him, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
She don't talk about it, and there ain't no way they didn't yell at each other with those
oh man,
two.
that must have been brutal indoors.
yeah. So,
I can't even believe they dated though. It's just I can't picture it.
who didn't she date? I
She
imagine
tries to
she
date
would've-
everybody.
Imagine she would have got her claws into Sweet Horacio.
Oh God,
Oh,
That
no.
would've been
praying
so
that
tragic.
didn't happen. I was praying that didn't happen.
That he was just like, I'm good. It's quiet way. He's like, yeah, we're just friends. Good for him. He won.
For real.
Even if he
dodged a
lost, he
bullet.
won.
Friend
Yeah.
zoned her.
Yeah.
Well, the challenge came and ended. Felt like it was decent, I guess. And then it based off of timing. That's, what it came down to. So then we go into deliberation. And I feel like deliberation had a little spice to it, maybe not the deliberation itself at all, but it was what happened after more so, I guess, with Josh. So what did you guys think about deliberation and how that went down?
Vacation Alliance is a thing. There's two pieces of evidence. One, Jenny wanted to protect her people, and the whole team was just like, no, we should throw in Johnny and Laurel because they're not with the Vacation Alliance. But Jenny is not in the Vacation Alliance, so why wouldn't she protect her people? And they all get pissed. So that's one. Two, there was this idea that Arrow 4 and Arrow 3 are working together. But when it comes to saving Arrow 3, John A. and Corey weren't in the Vacation Alliance, so they're disposable. So it's not an Arrow 4, Arrow 3 thing. It's Vacation Alliance plus their boo things. So Jordan gets in, Michelle gets in, and Naya gets in. But everyone else, not Vacation Alliance. It's not an Arrow 3, Arrow 4 thing. It's a Vacation Alliance. It's a conspiracy. We see right through it.
There's a third piece of evidence that it's a thing that you missed.
Yeah.
They have a secret handshake.
Yeah, you saw that, right? I was like, yo, that's crazy. But they call themselves the Vacation Alliance. So either they had that name before and somebody spilled it out, or they came up with that handshake on the fly.
I mean, it was a pretty involved
That's what I'm
handshake. So, yeah.
I thought Johnny, the smart move would have been to put Johnny and Laurel in.
Why? Explain why. Because I'm on both sides. I don't know.
I mean, of course, there's two sides to it. I'm saying the chance to get both Laurel and Johnny in and have a shot of either one of them going, that's a strong competitor in either way. Laurel is Laurel. She's coming off a win. Very intimidating to a lot of the other women. And Johnny is, 6-7-time champion now. So it's any chance you can take to get him out. If he gets to a final, he's most likely going to win. So it's, if you could have a shot to take him out, you take him out, especially if it's two of them like that. Leaving him in the game for too long, it's a little risky because you might not get that chance to get him out like that again.
Historically with Johnny, if you don't get him out towards the earlier portion, he typically goes. If he's already gotten away with skating by, especially with the partner like Laurel that to all the girls is so intimidating, to not go in, that's a huge indicator in my head that we're going to see Johnny for a long time because he's already in the right heads, making the right connections with people that we don't even see. We haven't, I mean, a little bit we see it in this episode, but I was like, there's no way he doesn't have that kind of pull with these people, but I guess he does because, Josh feels he owes him one, but I'm like, but I didn't think that would trump kind of what they all wanted. So historically, to me, that tells me we probably will see Johnny for a while.
The thing is, in a vacuum, yes, get the strong players out when you have a shot at them. But because of this Vacation Alliance, and there's people on both teams that are kind of on the outs, for Jenny, because I think Josh was 50-50. If it was somebody else, they probably could have convinced him to vote Johnny and Laurel in. But I think because Jenny doesn't have friends on her team. We can see that. Like they're not only like not volunteering and hoping she goes in, they're making fun of her for it. So to her, why wouldn't you save a guy like Johnny who's probably gonna win another challenge and he's not putting a target on me? I guess it's the choice, like, do you risk it and go against Laurel in the final, or do you not even get to the final because you don't have people protecting you? I think it was a tough choice. Like in most situations, throw in the tough, take the shot. But and on top of that, why do I have to take a shot? That puts the target on my back. That if they don't go home, because I don't think Johnny goes home against Brad. No offense to Brad, but I think that was a challenge made for Johnny.
You think? I don't know about that one. I don't know. I don't know. I think it would have been matched.
Fessy said it best. He's so good at these dumb, stupid athletic things. Like, how do you throw this weird shaped ball at a spike? And for some reason, Johnny's good at all that stuff. Just like he's able to climb weird ladders, or like I don't know, he's able to do that stuff. So
he's a
he
savant
saw
of
Brad
the
was
game.
struggling.
He's built for this like the challenge game. Johnny was built for it. Like, he learns the little nuances in all the games, like things that you probably wouldn't figure out right away. He has a really good eye for figuring out like the little loopholes or the little techniques and how to do things. So I mean, it would have been a good one to see if he went against Brad. But even Laurel herself was shocked that they weren't going in because she was like, I'm coming off a win. Johnny won 6-7 of these. She was shocked they didn't go in either. So I mean, I get it from Jenny's point of view because she doesn't have any allies, and Johnny is probably more of an ally to her than her own team. But having both of them in that situation like that, Johnny and Laurel, it probably won't happen again for a long time. If it does the rest of the season, I doubt you'll get both of them in there like that.
Maybe.
Here's a question I have too, and I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on this. With the whole Jenny and Johnny aspect, Jenny realizes, okay, this is like my only friend. That's not Johnny's only friend. So do we think if the roles were reversed and Johnny being Johnny had to make a decision, do we think he's going to stay loyal to Jenny over somebody maybe he's closer with who has more of an alliance than what Jenny has to offer him? Did this secure like her safety with him?
It's a good question. It's a good question because this episode, a lot of like surprising relationships for Johnny popped up that maybe I just wasn't aware of. Like, I know he hangs out with all these people, and like once the challenge is done, he doesn't hold grudges against many people. But he's like, I'm close to Michelle. I wouldn't vote her in. I'm like, okay.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
close to Jenny. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Laurel, he's always bigged up. Plus, she's on his team, so that makes sense. I'm close to Josh. I was just like, well, everybody's close to Josh, but like, I don't know. So it's just like, so that it was a little surprising, but I do think that, I mean, in this particular grouping, I think Jenny would have been his number one. He has no trouble throwing in Corey, and then he probably would have thrown in Brad and Rachel before Jenny, I think. So I think this grouping, it was easy for him, but he does have like a lot of surprising relationships to me.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. Like, there are 3 other people I can think of that he would have named besides Jenny. And you know what, like Bananas, he knows how he can manipulate everyone. So like, he can't manipulate Josh in the same way that he can manipulate Laurel. So like, I think he gets to know you and then uses it to manipulate you. I think that's what makes him like very scary player. I mean, like, I was so shocked that Josh, he got a little sob story from Johnny, and then he felt so bad, It's just like, Josh, come on. Like,
I mean, that's a great point you brought, Raquel. Like, that Johnny uses the knowledge of people to get under. Like, he even said, I fed Josh this sob story, and now he's feeling the guilt of 100 guilts or whatever. So I mean, he played it perfectly. So I actually have another question. How much of these challenges are actually won outside of the challenge? And I mean that in the sense of how much of this challenge was won even before the game started, with the alliances and getting to know each other and becoming friends outside of the game. So when you come into this game, you already have this network of people that, will watch over you and have your back. Do you think a lot of this game is actually won before the game even starts?
Well, yeah, you got all these relationships over decades, so that's going to be there. So the OGs are the OGs. That bond, I think, is unbreakable. Like, Derek, week 1, threw himself in for Darrell. Like, nobody even asked you, bro, but you did it. But also, there's the Vacation Alliance. There's past relationships. One guy who is kind of annoying me, and it looks like it's gonna like come out next week, is Ryan. Has done nothing in this game so far, and yet Nehemiah gets selected again. Now Nehemiah's on my team, so this is probably why it pissed me off. But it's just like, yo, Rachel, I understand Ryan's your friend, but like, Nehemiah just went in. What you don't want to spread the wealth around. He's doing nothing and skating by only because of his relationships.
That, and also because I don't think he's a real threat. So it's just like, oh, okay, we'll let him rock until he actually has to go.
Yeah, but knowing that one of your guys, especially like if I'm Rachel, if you're really playing the game and I'm Rachel, and I know Darrell is probably going to go in next week because you're not winning any challenges, put in Ryan. Throw in Ryan so Darrell can like go against him in elimination, but she's never going to do that because of the relationship. So to your question, Victor, it seems you can win because of the relationships that you made off the challenge, but to me that's a losing move. But that's the relationship.
Well, look at it like this: like Johnny went and he's friends with a lot of the new people. Not even era 1, but let's go into the newer era. Johnny's now friends with Michelle, Josh. Like I didn't know Josh was a thing, but I guess it was. And Jenny even. So it's like he's picking up these people, even that he hangs out with them, whatever, outside of the show. But now when he comes into the show, they're putting their whole challenge career on the line to protect them. So you think like for Johnny's sake, and like you think this is planned in a sense where he is using them kind of for the challenge?
Look, I think Johnny is the reason the Vacation Alliance can even work. He created that. This is like, he is the godfather of that, how that alliance forms. He is that person. And I can only imagine as we get newer and younger, fresher meat every time, Johnny's like, crap, here we go again. I got to start building these relationships. But he does it, like, I'm sure he wants to stick with his OGs, but he's also learned sometimes he has to let go of some of them. So he is like what you guys have said. He can manipulate his way because he learns his people. And these people should be taking notes and following how he does this. So this whole Vacation Alliance and what Josh is doing, you really need to study Johnny and how he does this, because nobody can do it as well as him. And they all try to like almost mimic him, but they fall short in so many different ways. Like Corey, I wish Corey would go under Johnny's wing and just learn from him, and just because Corey has a lot of potential. He just is never in the right group. He's always on the outskirts. And I'm like, I don't know how nobody's picked him up as like, I don't know.
He has no social game whatsoever.
None.
And I know this because I watched Teen Mom. Like, his family is very old school, where like, when you shake your hand, like, that is your word. Like, you don't even have to sign a contract. You shake your hand, that is so powerful. So I think when he is trying to be in these alliances, he trusts too much. And it's just like, I don't know. He needs a better social game.
He doesn't kiss the rings, and he's never going to kiss Johnny's ring. Even Wes, to a certain extent, was just like, listen, we'll both bow at the same time and acknowledge that we're both like champs. And they did that. They kind of like showed respect to each other. But Corey's never going to do that to Johnny. And so I think he's never going to, I don't care how many challenges you win, I'm never going to be under your wing. He has that kind of headstrongness. And it's still, when he was the young Bucks?
Yeah, with him, Nelson
and Hunter.
Hunter, yeah.
They're like...
I liked it. I liked it because it was refreshing to see somebody actually going against Johnny and going against the norm, and trying. They were young, they had energy, they had this fight, so it was good to see. It didn't work out for them, but it was good to see somebody trying.
But Paulie did the same thing, and what did he realize? It didn't help him this time around, but on Challenge USA, he's just like, it didn't help him there either. He didn't make it that far, but it wasn't Johnny's fault. But he's just like, let me see if I play nice with him, if I don't like immediately get thrown into the fire. Everybody eventually comes around with him. CT, the same thing. Not Corey. It's interesting. Yeah. Corey's like refuses.
Yeah.
It's not the reason he loses every time, but it doesn't help.
Whereas if he just, I don't care if you backstab him, and I wish he would. I wish he would manipulate him. Like, oh, Johnny, let's be friends, da-da-da. And then turn around quietly and be like, Johnny's going in. Like, at the worst possible time for John. I do it. I don't know. But
I think Johnny's too small for that. Like, I think Corey would have to do something crazy. Like, if Nelly T was on the season, throw in Nelly T to save Johnny and say, see, I got your back. And then, like, play the long game. Just a one day.
Corey would never do that, though.
No, he would never.
He doesn't have to, like, even to fake humble himself, he doesn't have it in him. And I kind of respect it, though. Me
too. I just want to see him go further, and I know that's what hinders him a lot of times, because he doesn't have that backing, like, and we, like, what we're talking about. If you're not in some way with Johnny, somehow Godfather Johnny still runs this game. It doesn't matter if he wins all the challenges or not. He's still in some way.
Even when he's not actively participating in a challenge, he is still running it, because people are still talking about him. He's still like the main subject for every single season. It's amazing.
And Johnny's come a long way. I don't know if you guys remember way back with Kenny when he first started out, and I never would have thought he would have become this good at the challenge. You know, just seeing him
Kenny
at
and
a young
Evan
age.
seemed like they were above him,
Yeah, they
and
were.
he passed them
Yeah, they 100%
for
were.
a lot of reasons.
They're not allowed back, right? Both of them, Kenny and
Yeah.
Evan.
Well,
They
yeah,
have
they're
an
not
issue.
allowed
We,
back.
we got a Jordan style NDA. We can't talk about that. I'm trying to
Yeah.
preserve my MTV relationships. But you even saw in this season, wouldn't you have thought he was cooked once Leroy and Tony went home? Those would have been like his top guys.
Yeah.
No, he's still thriving out here.
Unfazed too, and that's when you know you are godfather of that house. Unfazed, not like I don't know what I'm gonna do. He's not scrambling. He's not going making weird deals. He's sitting back and just like sad to see him go. See you later.
It's because he cultivated
it's
these
not gonna
relationships before the show. Like he said, he already knows. Like, all right, I'm friends with Michelle. I'm friends with Josh. I'm friends with this person. I'm friends with Jenny. I'm friends with this person. He already planned all this out. He planned season 40 out 5 seasons ago. So I think that's what he does. That's how he plays the game. He's like, all right, I'm gonna sit this season out. I'm gonna come back this season. Like maybe not to put a direct target on his back, because if someone has won the challenge that many times, you're gonna have you should have a target on your back from the
Yeah.
very beginning. People should want you out right away, but he makes all these relationships and he skates by.
Or does he? You guys said he's running this house, but is he?
Maybe.
No, I think Devin fell right in his trap.
He did.
Discuss.
He took the bait.
He did.
Like I said, Johnny studies his people very well. He knows what's going to tick off Devin. So he went to Michelle. I know for a fact Johnny knew it was going to get back to Devin. He wanted to get him riled up. And Devin took the bait. So that's all I'm going to say. He
I
took the
agree.
bait.
You're right.
We've already seen this scenario play out between them. He knows exactly how to rile up Devin to get him so heated that he can't even play right. He can't think straight. He can't anything. He's consumed by Johnny. He becomes obsessed with Johnny. And that's what Johnny's realizing. Oh, you're going to lead that alliance? Let me go ahead and break that alliance down. I'll go after your captain and make him go crazy. Make him lose his mind. And then now I have a bigger alliance.
Maybe. See, I'm on the fence with this one because, listen, Johnny has a target on his back. He's in deliberation. And like Laurel said, how do you let the most recent champ and a 7-time winner not go into elimination? You're in a good spot. Let sleeping dogs lie. Why would you cause this disturbance in the house that puts, a target on your back in a different way?
At that point, I think Johnny already knew he was 100% safe. So he was already preparing.
True.
All right, I have a couple, I have 1 week off maybe, and then I might be going back in, or I might be going right back, who knows? So I need to start getting everything in a row, make sure that I'm safe, whichever way. And he wants Michelle, so he needs to break that up. That's whatever his numbers, however he's playing, and I don't know it fully because we don't get to see Johnny's full picture. He never, airs all his cards to us, the viewers. There's something in the numbers that he's trying to break that up for sure to have Michelle, whatever, and it's probably to somehow just take out Devin, to have it a smoother exile of Devin out of this game, to put him in. Not Johnny himself, but he'll convince somebody else to do it and not want Michelle or all these people to be in an uproar, to let it happen smoothly and calmly.
Yeah, Bananas knows how much Devin despises him. And now for the rest of the challenge, it's Devin's sole purpose to get rid of John. Like, at this point, like that's his number one goal. And I think Johnny's is banking on, like, if this is all that Devin is going to be focused on, it might mess up his game a little bit.
But is that smart for Johnny to activate someone, go after me?
I mean, this is what the challenge is about. You're taking a risk.
Well, I have the opposite view from you and Nora. I think Johnny was actually a little concerned. I don't think he was confident. I think he was concerned that Michelle was wavering in their friendship. Because, when you're booed up, you become closer to them. You're staying with them, talking to them. You become part of their alliance. I think Johnny was worried. So he wanted to kind of plant a little seed in Michelle's head because he knows Michelle. Like we said, he knows Michelle. He knows what she's been through, the other challenge and reality stars she dated, and what she went through. So I think he was planting a seed of doubt into Michelle, knowing that it would go back to Devin, but it was more for Michelle. So Michelle would reaffirm kind of, you know, her allegiance to Johnny and just be like, okay, well, these guys did screw me over before. Let me think about myself and my game and Johnny more than with Devin. So I think maybe that's why he did it. I think it was more to just put a little seed of doubt in Michelle's head.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think that move from Johnny definitely came from like a deep concern of like, oh crap, like Devin has the most numbers on his side. Now Michelle is with Devin. And so like, I think Johnny started to see that as a threat. So, but you know, that's what the challenge is about, taking a risk.
I agree with that. I just think like, I agree that he sees that there's a numbers game over there that's starting to form, that he's on the outside of it, and they're potentially taking away one of his numbers, Michelle, and into their alliance. Is Devin the right person to go at, like, and kind of spark all this up? Because I feel like there's like, and no shots at you, Nora, but like if you start to pull out like Naya or Casey, like, or like people outside of that core group, rather than going at the head, which I think is Devin right now. I think he's like the thinking man and at the top of that alliance.
That's why he was the person to go after. That's why.
But it was also the one that causes the most blowback, in my opinion. So it could be a calculated risk, but risk nonetheless.
Right.
So we always expected Michelle to go back to Devin with that. We don't actually think Johnny's genuine, saying, hey, you're a friend. This is between friends. Like, I just hope that, you know, he's genuine with you. Like, we always thought that he was saying that to Michelle, not in confidence between two friends, but expecting her to go back and tell that to Devin.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I was just like, damn, well, you went right to your boo thing and divulged our conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I think it works two ways. I think he 100% knew it was going to happen, but he needed it. It's almost a test for her, and then to get Devin riled up. But it's like showing him, see, she really is. Like, I need to be mindful of this. That is her number one. So be very careful with her. She's already proved where her loyalty lies. And now I got to make him crazy. Now that I know, I'm going to rile him up because I know Devin, it's kind of like how Wes used to get with Johnny. He could get in his head and rile him up where the whole season, all Wes could think about was Johnny, get Johnny, get Johnny, get Johnny. That he couldn't even think about an alliance. You know, like they lose their focus of what's important because they're consumed with just getting Johnny out.
Yeah. I like that take. I like that a lot. So they basically both fell for his trap. They both took the bait.
Well, I
like
hope
that.
you learned, because at the beginning of the episode, when he was up for elimination or to be sent to elimination, Michelle was like, sorry, we're friends, but you're a strong team, so I have no problem voting for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. With friends like that, right?
I think that's probably why he said the things he said, was because he could probably sense that was going to happen with Michelle. So he's like, all right, I'm going to plant this seed. It's going to hit both of them. It's going to push her more to me. But now Devin is also like taking a step back, like, all right, their night is ruined. He's sleeping alone in bed, probably thinking like, damn, is she really on my side or is she on Johnny's side? Like, it kind of puts a wedge in between them that might come up in a few episodes.
I wonder if she would have kept that same energy. Let's say Devin and Tori are up for elimination, and that's a strong team. And whether she's like, well, I know me and Devin are together, but this is a good opportunity to get rid of two champions. Like, do you think she keeps that same energy?
No.
Or is she protecting her boo thing?
Protecting her boo.
100%.
Cool, because they've been screwing for like 8 days. But now,
I thought they were official though. Like, I thought they've been dating.
Now, after this challenge.
Oh, after, okay.
But 8 days in challenge is like, you know, they might as well be married. You know, they're in
Right.
love. And
Yeah,
I mean, look at Laurel. After 2 days, she's like, that's it. That she's taking their last name. It doesn't matter.
I'm looking all over for you. I gotta get out of here pronto. I got a stage 5 clinger. Did you hear what I just said to you? Stage 5 virgin clinger? I don't think that you're appreciating the urgency here.
Yeah.
They laid in bed with her.
For real. Casey left her boo to go to be with Nani right away.
Yeah.
These challenge relationships are more potent than the average ones.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, so we leave deliberation where Josh, he already has made up his mind. We see as we walk out of deliberation, Josh in his, segment is saying he's already kind of made up his mind. Him and Jenny are on the same page about not putting Johnny in because for whatever their reasons, Jenny, that's her only friend. Josh is saying he owes him one. So we leave deliberation, and clearly the whole house knows because we go into night out and people are feeling good. They realize, Johnny and Laurel feeling good. They realize they are not going in. They're very confirmed with that. So the rest of them now have to kind of just realize it's going to be them. I mean, that's where we're left at for the night out.
I liked Corey's energy. Once he knew he was going in, he's like, cool, I know who I'm coming after.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, he didn't even mince words. He's like, gotcha. So when I come after you, it's all fair game.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, and honestly, I feel like Josh would have done better being loyal to Corey than Johnny. I mean, but that's how Johnny plays, right? He has the numbers in the weirdest way, but it's like, I don't know. Josh, you're not going to beat Johnny, it's just not going to happen. So
yeah, and then once you start playing with Josh's heartstrings, it's just like he gets so emotional.
Yeah.
So very interesting choice of fashion this episode. Nora, do you want to take us into a deep dive as to what we saw this episode?
See Devin and CT, it looks so hot.
Yes, because, the night out, well, I can't even talk about the night out until we once again, and I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be mean, but who on the crew is trolling Laurel? Who is trying to make us see those damn jeans that we just made fun of her in, that we had to see him again with leopard this time? But that wasn't what I was going to bring up, but I just feel like we all saw it. The slowdown, the full body of just the jeans. It's the cameramen knew what they were doing. Production, they knew what they were doing to us.
I think
they want me to sound
4-pack
mean.
From Shin. The 4-pack
Yes.
high-waisted.
Maybe. I wish, I don't know. I was like, of all people, this is who we're getting the slow-mo walk out of, is Laurel in those damn jeans again. I thought we were done with them, but that wasn't going to be my fashion segment. I was going to talk about, it was a nice episode for the ladies this time around. We actually got to see all the men shirtless, looking good. It must have been hot in the club that evening. You guys get the bikinis and all of that for almost all the episodes. We finally got our night out with our nice shirts off. All the men feeling good about themselves, relaxed. I don't know. I liked this episode. It was a nice one.
Who of the guys was the best dressed, in your opinion?
God.
Or undressed, I guess.
I would say to look at pictures. Let me pull.
But you gotta save that on your phone or something, or what?
It is my segment. Don't I need to keep, slides here? I'm trying to remember. I thought it was Brad, but now I'm trying to remember. He had it was open, wasn't it?
I think so.
But he had the shirt. But he had it open. But I'm like, did he have an undershirt? I can't
don't think
remember.
he did.
Okay, because Brad is who's standing out to me right now.
It's his beard that stands out.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg.
That's the...
Yeah, I mean, he just looked very calm, and the wind was blowing when he was on the patio with Derek. So I'd probably give it to Brad.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any preferences from this episode?
No, I think Horacio missed out. Tony Time missed out. So maybe next season they can join this party.
Listen, and even CT. I would have been fine with CT.
Yes.
We love a little CT in his body, so there's no discriminating here. I would have been fine with him too, with no shirt. Yeah. So it was a good one for us. You guys got Laurel's jeans this episode, so you're welcome.
No, don't
Thank
worry.
production.
Real ones out there know Avery. Just go back and check out Avery's Just at the Club. Thank me later.
Yeah, this episode they were sweating, so it was. I mean, they always are, but this one they definitely were. I don't know, maybe it was extra hot, but yeah, that was it for this week. There wasn't too much to touch on. They weren't even in the night out part too long. We only had such a short segment of it. So
I would have much rather have seen
Derek
in the hospital.
Oh.
No, just taking the night out off the tape. Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's get into elimination because I actually enjoyed it. It was, I know we talked a little bit about it earlier. It's a stupid game, but I have to say, we saw Mr. TJ laughing hysterically. That, he was feeling this elimination. So I'm on team TJ. If he liked it, I liked it. So it was, I don't know. What were your guys' thought on this one? Because I did find it pretty fun to watch.
I thought it was alright. I thought it was like dodgeball at first a little bit, but it was alright. I didn't like the whole throw the balls out, but it's a strategy, right? So I was okay with it, but it was alright. It was alright. I wasn't too impressed, but I wasn't unimpressed. But I was impressed by Rachel though. Rachel was doing better than the guys were. So, but she looked like she was focused. Like she had that look on her face, like a demon when she was throwing that ball. So I give her props on that. But it wasn't really much of a challenge.
Could have beat Corey?
I think she could have beat Corey. I think she could have. She had a way better accuracy and technique.
Yeah, I think it was a fun carnival game. Sometimes that's what we get, where it's a mix of some stamina and throwing the balls, but also just like weird weights on it. You just gotta kind of get lucky, but also stay focused. So at first I was like, oh, anybody can win this, but to Victor's point, once Rachel got her hands on those balls, like it was all over. She was just like, no, I'll show you how it's done. And also she did the defensive part well too, where she's just like, you're not getting this past me. So there was some strategy in there with getting the rebounds out and getting the dodgeballs out of the way so that your opponent can't get to them. But and then some finesse, some skill mixed with a little bit of luck and make sure those things stay on.
Do we think Janae had a chance at all?
Not against Rachel, I don't think. Maybe a different competitor, I just feel like Rachel was like you said, I feel like she could have probably beat Corey. I mean, she was hyper focused, and she obviously, she said, she says she plays a lot of games with her kids, but she's obviously an actual athlete who trains. Not that you could really train for this, but she has the endurance, she has the accuracy. I could picture her definitely being somebody who works out with the yoga balls, throwing them and catch, she has that endurance and that ability to do that challenge. I feel like that was a good challenge for her.
Yeah, and I just think Janae wasn't in the right mindset to go against Rachel. She was upset that she was going in, the last episode. She didn't want to nominate herself and she got nominated anyway. So I think she was harboring all these negative feelings that just wouldn't, even if she could beat Rachel, just wasn't going to allow her to beat Rachel.
Yeah, whether she had the athletic capability, that was always going to be tough against Rachel. But I think this whole episode she was a little defeated. And the fact that it seems like Nehemiah was one of her closer allies in a game where she didn't have that many allies, and that he nominated her in, I think that hit her hard, and she was a little dejected the whole game. She mentioned how it's difficult to trust people and her upbringing, which was sad to hear. But in that elimination, the confidence was sapped from her that we had seen her grow in All Stars. It was wonderful to see grow, for her become a champion, and it kind of went away here because I think she felt like she was out on an island.
I think the confidence that you're talking about, I think it was a false sense of confidence. I think the confidence came from depending on someone else, not necessarily I, Janae, am strong enough to do this. It was I, Janae, need this person on my side so that I can do this. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just feel like...
Makes sense. I disagree. I think on their second All-Stars win, she kicked everybody's ass on the puzzles. She went toe-to-toe with Wes, and they were the winners. She found her footing in the game. But I think I'll agree with you in that maybe it was a little easier to shake her confidence. Maybe she even had some, imposter syndrome. Am I really the champ that I think that I am? Something knocked her off her game. She didn't seem like she was very confident the whole episode.
Well, according to last pod, All Stars doesn't count, so she's not a champion, right?
No, champs versus pros, my friend. Champs versus pros.
Oh, so All Stars.
We're not counting champs versus pros, where Casper Smart won doesn't count.
But All Stars count?
Of course, All Stars count.
I don't know.
Who, you're okay. Wes won All Stars 3. You're gonna take away a champ from him. Laurel won All Stars 4.
I don't care about Laurel. Laurel was the wrong person. Laurel was the wrong person to bring up. You had it at West, and then you lost it at Laurel.
Okay, Cara Maria came in second.
Second is not first.
Wait, so that's what? So Cara Maria is a great champ on the regular, but she can't win All Stars. So you telling me All Stars is fraudulent?
All Stars is rigged.
It's rigged.
It's rigged.
Okay.
That's a different podcast. I think that's a whole different one.
Listen.
I'll go on an hour rant on how it's rigged.
Well, I was sad because I have.
Just
Brad,
remember,
and
Derek is still here because they counted his stupid little peg, and Horacio should still be here. So don't you talk to me about rigged.
Horacio's a fraud.
What? Stop! Oh my God! He's just
Stop the
saying things
steal.
now.
Stop the steal. Count those pegs again.
Horacio even knows himself he's a fraud. He said it. He said, "I'm the biggest fraud. I've done nothing."
Show me the evidence. You're eating cats
I'll
and
get
dogs
you the
again.
video. I'll get you.
Did you say you're eating cats and dogs again?
Eating cats and dogs again.
What?
We're eating like.
That's crazy.
You're eating
Show me the evidence.
Horacio said it himself.
Horacio said, "Yeah, I guess they told us that, but it's a bullshit rule that the peg wasn't in. So don't tell me about fixed."
They asked him a question. I think it was in last season. They were like, "Who's the biggest? Who's overhyped or something like that?" And he said, "Me, because I haven't done anything."
Overhyped is different from fraud.
He's a fraud. I like Horacio. Let me stop. I like Horacio.
And I love
Why are
Derek.
you calling him fraud?
I love Derek.
I
It is-
expected great
that-
things from Horacio, and he hasn't delivered yet.
Hey, listen, Johnny didn't win till like his. I actually don't know. He could have won his second championship. It took CT a while to get his first
Well, I was
championship.
gonna
It
say
did,
CT. It did take him a while.
Yeah, 'cause he's beating
between
people
his
up left and
fights
right, yeah.
For real.
He was out every other
He's a
season.
changed man.
Part of the
He's
game
a
is like
changed
don't beat
man.
people up. that's one
I
of
had
the
to
rules.
learn that.
Your peg can fall out and don't punch somebody. That's like the two
Yeah.
rules you
I
gotta
think-
remember.
I think one season he'd even make it 10 minutes into the show and he was gone. So it's like,
Yeah. All
Anyway.
right. Well, I was sad because Brad left. I like Brad, but I did. I was proud of Corey. He did it. Corey's likable, but I like how calm Brad went into everything. I don't know. I feel like he really grew on me this season. His calmness, his maybe him being with Emily. Hope that works off camera because it seemed to ground him. The meditation, all of that. I like that, seeing that with him. And then I like John A, so I was sad to see her go too. She's not on my team, so I didn't really care about points for the girls, but and I liked when Rachel said, like, I'll be sad to take her out because she is a great competitor for the challenge, but of course I'm gonna go out there and do my best. So
Well, I loved it too because it put a fire under Rachel's ass. Like
yeah.
she said at the beginning, it's like maybe I'm not as obsessed as John A with the game, but I want to win. And then after she won, she's like, no, she came alive. She was like focused. She's a shark. She's a shark in there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for her. Definitely sad to see Brad go. I was telling you guys before we started recording that scene on the balcony with Brad and Derek was like very heartwarming, and also like, it was bittersweet because I kind of feel like they're looking at the horizon like, I don't know how many more of these we got. That's kind of how it felt for me. And then he ended up going home and I'm like, it's sad.
Aw,
I'm not gonna cry.
What a
I'm not
nice,
gonna cry.
nice kumbaya moment. This ain't no kumbaya shit. Where's the tears, the violin? Bring it all out.
well, the only problem with this whole thing is I can't lose any more people or points, and in fact I did lose points and people. So
Actually, you lost people, but should we take a look at whether you lost points this week?
yeah, I think we should go into points.
Points.
I got you.
Points.
All right, guys, it's points time.
Ballers, I put numbers on the boards.
No. Alright guys, points time. So episode Raquel got 14 points. Whoop whoop.
I sure did.
Myself 10, Nora 6, and Eric with a big fat old 0. Big old 0.
I'm ashamed.
Big 0. Damn, Raquel, 60 point season total. I'm trailing with 28. Eric with 19, and Nori. I mean, you got back up there. You're now -1.
I'm almost in the, yeah. I'm right there with you guys. Any day now.
A couple of rough first weeks, but 3 weeks in a row, you're actually like scoring big. So
For real, yeah.
And props to
We'll
Janae
see.
and her side profile right here.
yeah, I feel like I'm devastated for this loss. If you look at the column, the specific cell, you'll see why.
So Brad is why you're sad. And I get it. I'm sad too for Brad too.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, that beard, and its personality. So a couple of mayhem points were given out. Johnny and Devin, for the little spat, kept us entertained. They each got a mayhem point, but quite a few points lost this week for mentioning of children, which is extra devastating. So
Yes.
Johnny, mentioned her kids. Rachel, even after
Rachel,
winning
yeah.
or lost. Brad, we finally heard about his 2 boys, lost points. Corey, America's baby daddy, lost us points. But the one I want to bring up, which is the most hilarious, is Josh. Josh lost a point for crying this week, but I believe this would be the first time in history where someone loses a point for crying based on footage from past seasons. So the producers put in a clip of the past of him crying for putting in Johnny or crying to Corey or something. And I was just like, you almost deserve to lose double the points. They had to reach back, and they could have reached back at any point in time of any of your seasons and caught one. So
Yeah.
It's too easy. It's too easy with Josh. Damn, but I don't know, Raquel. You're taking off. You picked a good team
Yeah,
so
I
far.
don't think I picked many Era 1s. I think that's
That helps.
Yeah.
that helped me a lot.
the one you did, Tina, won.
So are we looking for trades? Anybody wanna trade?
Nora, what's it gonna take to break up this power Theo Olivia? Because that's what's powering your comeback. Era 4 keeps winning, plus they keep hooking up.
Can't let him go. Me and this team will ride or die together now.
What
Me and this
about
draft,
Jordan
we've already
and
been in the
Laurel?
negatives. We can only go up.
Yeah.
Jordan and Laurel for one. Does
I
that
don't
get the
know.
needle moving?
I can't take
Damn.
Laurel with the amount of shit I talk about her. Just wouldn't sit right. I think it would implode my whole team. They would all go home the next week or something.
Yeah. So, my earlier trade kind of so far has tanked my season. First of all, I made a stupid bet behind Anissa. That killed me. And then I traded Casey, who's like just gonna fucking ride a win every week. And I lost John A. Devastating. And plus, nobody on my team fucks. Like, what's going on with that? And so I'm very up and down. Like, if my team doesn't win, if like Laurel or Jordan don't win,
Can we talk about, has anyone seen Theo this episode?
I saw him
Was he
run.
aired once?
I saw him run
Oh.
for like 2 seconds, and then that was it.
Yeah, didn't get much airtime.
He didn't even fucking kiss. That's only, do your job, Olivia and
Well,
Theo.
Olivia was rubbing his leg one time. Does that
Well,
count?
I need her to keep rubbing and add a little something to it, a little dash of spice there. Like, I need my points. That could have put me at 0. I would have been out of the negatives.
Yeah.
she needs to rub until those cheap pants that they give them are wet, but for a different reason.
Yes, exactly.
God.
Need my points, and they're not doing anything challenge-wise, so you might as well at least make out and get me some points that way.
That's where you're wrong. They won 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but
That's 20 points you got. In just, like,
yeah, but I mean, like in general, that them themselves are like not making any real big moves in the house. They're not really doing anything. So just start making out every episode. Be in the background of every cameraman making
For
out
real.
every episode.
See, that's where I disagree. Just because, look, John A was like starting to make waves, and I'm like, why? Just stay under the radar. Theo hasn't even sniffed an elimination or a target since he got sent
Yeah.
in week 1. I think he scared the house by trucking Paulie out of his freaking cleats. Now nobody wants to go against him. I think that's wonderful. I think that's great strategy. But I understand you want some more match points, but It's dry out here on Team Eric. I don't even know what to tell you.
How about I
How is Laurel not fucking? Come on!
nobody wants that. You see
Nobody
her?
wants-
You see them jeans? No one wants to get in those jeans. You crazy? Who wants to get in those?
After the whole suck it thing a few seasons
Yeah.
ago, I think most of the men are kind of like, that's for the girls now. She's got to wait
Yeah,
for
after her dealing with Nicole, like, how do you just?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Not even Josh. Get a pity fuck after he got dumped by Naya. Go after Josh. Somebody.
Who would go after Josh? That's left. Who? I'm trying to think. I'm looking right
Olivia's
now.
taken. Michelle's taken.
Not Tori. Not Casey.
Not Tori.
Not Tina.
Avery's taken.
Not Aviv.
Tina's married. Aviv is married.
Yeah, there's nobody.
There's not many people.
Is this Naya?
Kara's boot up.
Naya's
Yeah,
the only
no.
one. Naya or Jenny.
That would be an
That's
interesting
literally the
couple.
only thing that's left.
Josh and
I'll say this.
Jenny.
Jenny.
I'll give 5 points if Josh and Jenny make out.
Give 5 points to who?
They could have whoever has them. I want to see that. Josh
I have
and Jenny,
Jenny.
but not like a like a little peck. It needs to be a romantic makeout. I'd give them 5 points just to witness that.
I'm not holding my breath.
You know the goal is to gain points, right? Not give them away,
Well,
right?
I mean, I would just be curious to see it. I'm very curious, interested.
So, any trades?
All right.
Nehemiah?
I know it's dry for you out there, so let me become the rain for you. I'll offer you Aviv. And you know what? I'll do Aviv, and I'll take Rachel off your hands.
Aviv is almost certainly going down into elimination next week.
Are you sure about that? That's a former champ you're talking about. Put some respect on her name.
Yeah, she also has a target on her back for the first time. She's 100% going in.
But
And
she
that
might
team's
win.
Imploding. Johnny and Ryan are about to get into a fight. There's no way. She's going in.
So you're not taking the trade?
Well, no, I'm definitely not doing the trade for Rachel because Rachel is a shark right now. She smelled blood in the water. She's gonna fuck shit up. So nah.
All right, I'll take Jordan off your hands then.
For Johnny.
No.
You sure about that? You sure
Yeah.
about that?
You sure about that? You sure about that? That's why?
Jordan has Devin by his side.
For now. Somebody's gonna betray somebody. It's only a matter of time. It's the challenge.
Yeah, 100% is gonna be Josh. He's created the Vacation Alliance, and he's gonna be the first one to get kicked out of it.
Cry.
Cry and clap his hand on top of a table like he's a bad bitch.
That he is.
I could never let him live that moment down. I can't.
Who has Kylan?
I do.
Yeah, Raquel does.
I'm keeping him. I'm on his TikTok live every day,
Damn, every
3
day?
p.m. Every day.
You've never gone to my TikTok lives.
I mean,
It's at 3 p.m.
The
That's
only-
why she's on island.
he only gets like 24 of us every day. I think it's like the same 24 people.
What does he say then on his TikTok lives? What is he?
He's building his brand.
Well, I have it muted because I'm working.
Oh, that's even worse.
He's just staring. That's all.
But I need it for
Damn.
the algorithm, for the TikTok algorithm.
Ah.
I need to
No,
be in
you're
these
trying to get those
spaces.
curl techniques, girl. I know what you're trying to do. You're just like the algorithm. You're trying to get the ingredients. You're trying to get the secret.
Yeah, no.
potion.
Well,
Like I'm amazed like how it's so difficult for all these girls to keep it together during the challenge, and he always comes out with his hair looking immaculate.
like for
Truly,
Think he wears a bonnet?
for sure.
Yeah,
There's no way he
100%.
doesn't.
you
They're
got
gonna
His
be
hair is
showing him in
so
one.
soft, and we don't really see him late at night either.
They're
He's
gonna-
kind of gone. Maybe because he has his bonnet on. He doesn't like, he goes under the covers, turns off the lights.
Puts his bonnet on.
And he probably has to get up early to get his hair ready for the
Yeah.
day, like before the challenges, where most of the guys just sleep in, and just wake up and roll out of bed.
So how does
So
he?
they're gonna show us pancake ass and shitty jeans every week, but you're not gonna show us Kylan in your bonnet.
How does his hair look without the gel and all the stuff he puts in?
As soft as the clouds.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
he
that.
does have beautiful hair.
All right, so congrats to Raquel on her lead. Congrats to Nora creeping up, and so sorry for me.
Yes, and now
Look
we
at Victor.
and now we
He's
know.
also losing.
I'm
sorry.
second. I'm second place. Okay, I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, but according to you, that doesn't matter.
that
For
is.
Kara in second place,
That
you're,
is true.
you're Kara in All Stars 4. Doesn't matter.
Kara's better than that. She's better than that. She's first place every day.
Except
Oh,
that
wow.
one time she lost to Laurel.
We'll see this one. We'll see. We'll see if they. I would love to see them go at it at a final. I feel like Cara would win it. I feel Cara would win it.
Having Jordan and Laurel on my team, I might have to go heel. I might have to go heel and just shit on everybody's team. I'm just gonna trash all your players and tell you how shitty they are.
Okay.
Can you do it in a Jordan way where you just scream at us really loud?
Johnny, don't mention your kids. You're already being eliminated. Why are you gonna lose another point? Laurel, buy a different 4-pack of jeans.
She won't.
Something like that.
She won't.
Wonder how many more times. And like everybody
Nora,
else
do you
is
know
in
you're supposed
dress.
to be gaining points, not giving them away?
I really want to know like why she's the only one in like a jeans and long sleeve shirt when everybody's like sweating and in dresses and shorts and skimpy little outfits, and she's like layered up for the night, laying in the club, playing with her necklace.
Everybody sound off in the comments. Whose team should I shit on next? Who has the worst team here? And let us know, and I'll make sure to write some Jordan-esque insults.
Yes, and let us know if you'd be joining Raquel on Kylan's live at 3 p.m. every day.
We'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.